Greetings, this is Deadman from dagblog.com with your Dag Buzz for October 20th, 2010. This is the first time I've done one of these in quite some time, but today is a very special occasion because I'm about to interview a guest right here beside me. He is the co-founder of dagblog.com. The G in Dagblog screen name is Genghis. Of course, his real name is Michael Wolraich, and he is, excitingly, a newly published author. The book is called Blowing Smoke. It's out in bookstores everywhere from the Capo Press, and it is about why the right keeps serving up whack job fantasies about the plot to euthanize Grandma, Outlaw Christmas, and turn Junior into a raging homosexual. Again, his name is Michael Wolraich, and I'm excited and honored to have him here to discuss the book today. Come on in, Michael.
Thank you, Deadman.
All right.
Pleasure to be down here at the dagbuzz Studios.
Yeah, no, it's exciting to have you here, and I'm sure this is just one of many stops for you.
Yeah, I've got the view on next, and then, this is first stop. Let's leave it that way.
All right.
It's like the view, though.
Let me know how the view goes, okay?
Yeah.
I'm curious how I compare.
Well, if you were 5 women, I think you would be like the view.
It's been a while since I've been 5 women, but I'll do my best anyways. So let's just talk about the book, because I'm curious. I'm curious, exactly why does the right serve up these, you call it, whack job fantasies about the plot to euthanize Grandma and Outlaw Christmas and turn Junior into a raging homosexual?
It's a good question.
I got it right here.
What the book is about this 30, 35-year-old trend of right-wing leaders promoting this myth to their constituents. And the myth is that there's this conspiracy made up of liberal elites, militant homosexuals, black radicals, and illegal immigrants to persecute white Christian gun-owning heterosexual conservatives. And the reason they've been promoting this myth, and they've been promoting it very effectively, is that it scares the shit out of people. That, it makes them think like, oh no, I'm going to get, they're going to send me off to to prison or, destroy my rights or worse.
Right.
And so they get out there and they vote in exactly the way the right-wing leaders want them to vote. They vote against health care because, their benefits are going to go to illegal immigrants and black people and, sex change operations. They vote against the bailout because that's just going to be an excuse to.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but it sounds like you're saying this has gone on for 30, 35 years. I look at it as something that in the last couple of years has been really seen to come to the forefront. I mean, the anger and hostility and passion that I've seen. I don't know. Has it really been going on that long, and why does it seem so much more intense now?
It has been going on that long. That same passion, that same fear. Has been going on since at least the late 70s. What's different now is that it's more popular. That it's more that, used to be Jerry Falwell would get up there and he had his audience, and Pat Buchanan, when we ran for president, he had his audience. But then you got Bill O'Reilly up there with the war on Christmas in 2004, and they're going to destroy Christmas, and then they're going to destroy Christianity. And then you got Glenn Beck this year and Sarah Palin, and now it's big time. Now it's mainstream.
Is it becoming more popular because there's more truth to it? I mean, if I were to look at this from a devil's advocate point of view, I would say if I were a white, rich male Christian, I'd only, or a couple of those, but if I were all 4 of those, I would be worried that my rights are being taken away and my way of life. Since the country's founding, basically, I've been the one in a position of power and prestige, and I've benefited from that. And now I look at the landscape, and I do see things are changing. I see a African-American president in the White House. I see homosexuality all throughout the mass media being accepted. I mean, isn't some of the things that they fear, aren't they actually coming to pass?
Well, having to share your power with other parts of the population is not how most people would define persecution.
Okay.
Persecution is when there's some kind of abuse going on, some kind of unfair suffering where you're being dominated by some other group. And you look in Congress, it's still almost all white Christian males, frankly.
Right.
And while minorities have made some inroads, they've hardly turned, they've barely turned the corner in terms of actually being recognized, let alone being in a position where they're persecuting white Christians.
So they are looking at the changes that are going on, which are gradual and minor actually in scope, and taking them to an extreme, and in many cases spinning what you consider to be kind of fantastical lies, right?
Well, yeah, I call that part of the strategy, the slippery slope strategy. They take something that happens today, like let's say, to take the Bill O'Reilly example, let's say the mayor of New York, Mayor Bloomberg, calls the tree holiday tree instead of Christmas tree.
Right.
Well, that's just the first step. See,
right.
Like, it's not about whether it's a holiday tree or whether in Macy's they say Happy Holidays or Merry Christmas. It's about getting rid of Christianity.
Right.
And then once you get rid of Christianity, then you can have abortion on demand and drugs and legalized drugs and all the rest. So basically, say it may not look like persecution, but you're going to get persecuted one day if we don't.
Well, so what's the fear here? Okay, so this has become more popular. More people are believing the Glenn Becks of the world and subscribing to it. And there's an anger and hostility. Where will I be affected? Where is the fear that this is going to turn into something that gets even uglier?
Well, I think we've already seen it in the halls of Congress. I mean, there's the action of government has essentially ground to a halt because the Republicans, either because they, some of them are paranoid, some of them believe the Democrats are the enemy and they cannot in any way compromise with them on anything, and they can't. Any Democratic plan is just some secret, part of the plot to destroy Christianity, say.
Right.
Or else, so for example, Glenn Beck called. Thought the health care bill was secret reparations for black people, to take white people's health care and give it to black people.
Right.
Or if they don't believe that, they feel that their constituents believe that, and if Republicans were to compromise with Democrats, then they would lose their constituency, and frankly, a lot of the more moderate ones have lost in the primaries to Tea Party, hardline conservative, paranoid Tea Party upstarts.
Well, I'm looking at the landscape, and I'm looking at the midterms coming up in a couple of weeks, and I'm saying, like, if anything, it's going to get worse, right? I mean, what is okay? You lay out the problem, you lay out why it's there. Well, what is the solution? How are we ever going to stop something that seemingly is crossing the chasm into being almost unstoppable?
It's not going to be easy, but it is stoppable. And when I started looking for solutions, one of the things I looked at was what happened the last time the U.S. had this much popular paranoia, and that was this Red Scare of the 1950s.
Okay.
Which was in many ways worse. It really went down, the witch hunts went down to every level of society.
Right.
And Joe McCarthy seemed to be unstoppable. And what happened in the end was a few people across the political spectrum started speaking up, and they said, whoa, who is this Joe McCarthy guy? Why is he scaring us? Why do people?
What do we really have to fear here?
And how is this what America's about?
Right.
And you had people on the left doing it all along, but once people on the right, once once you had the Army hearings and Murrow speaking up on national news, it's almost like it pulled the curtain in a way from McCarthy. And we can do the same thing today.
Yeah, it's tough to imagine happening, because not only do you see the political leadership of the right kowtowing to this fringe element of the Republican Party and basically encouraging and inflaming those, fanning those flames, you also have, you mentioned Murrow. I mean, Glenn Beck is the Murrow of today, so it's tough to envision a news, the media playing the appropriate role in tamping down, some of this paranoia that you saw back then.
It's hard. We don't have the same kind of neutral figures that we had once upon a time, and I don't think it'll be easy. But Kirk. But we can, if enough people start speaking up, and particularly if enough people on the right start speaking up, we can make a difference. But to do that, people have to take the problem seriously, and that's what Blowing Smoke's about. Oh,
well, again, it's a fascinating book, and I encourage everyone to go out and pick a copy. Again, news stories everywhere. It's called Blowing Smoke. Michael Wolraich, thank you so much for being on dagbuzz today.
Thank you, Dead Man.
All right, take care.
Thanks.